Bitch, we are finally here at MIT, and this has been a journey so far. So I've actually been here for 2 weeks, but yesterday was orientation for my PhD program, and I feel like I can finally speak to my full experience because I didn't really know how school was gonna be. And before I get into the tea, I want to rewind really quick because we all know how orientations tend to be, where there's just a lot of information dumped on you that you forget within 4 hours, and everyone is forced to engage in some awkward icebreaker. And I know when I started my master's program 2 years ago at my school in North Carolina, no shade to them because this program is amazing. However, the orientation was just so unseasoned, dry, bland, nothing. We were all just kind of at the start, sort of in a room. Hey, let's get everyone to stand up and introduce themselves. There's 60 people in the room, right? And obviously people of color were not in the majority. Black people especially were not in the majority. And it was just, I don't even even if you don't necessarily brand these collections of activities particularly Caucasian, it's just very uninspired, where it would just be white girl after white girl after white girl after white man, everyone cis, everyone straight, standing up, being
Hey everyone, my name is Heather. I love hiking. I love a good vintage shop, and I like to boulder, and yeah, and bicycling. I really like bike lanes, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
And at first it's okay, Heather, work. I love me a good vintage shop too. And then the next person would stand up and they would be
Hey, my name is Lance. I really like bicycling, craft beers, and hiking.
And then it became apparent okay, here we go.
Yo, my name is Smith. I really like hiking, hanging out with my dog, and craft beer.
And then it's okay, sis, now I just feel I'm swiping through Tinder in the least diverse town, city, place ever. And this is ridiculous. And in that moment, I was in a weird place. I had just come from Japan, and I also was really tired of hearing one person after another. I was towards the end, and I was kind of determined to be messy, but also just trying to make the experience more interesting for myself. So I gave the girls a smooth
Hey, this is my name. I like love and hip hop Atlanta and Hollywood, not New York. I also like, LGBTQ people of color. And yeah, I love me a good thrift vintage shop as well, girl.
it was just I gave that, which was maybe a little bit too much because people were just oh, okay, girl. The right people picked up on that shit. Which, so I guess mission accomplished. But yeah, I think just student orientation or big group work orientations are so it's just strangely, I don't even want to say dehumanizing because that feels a little bit too dramatic, but the sort of afterthought put into the human aspect of it just makes you feel you're joining an institution that doesn't really care about you as a person, I guess. So if we jump into now, this is probably one of the better orientations I've been to, where this orientation is a week out from when classes start. And yesterday was day one, and there was a little bit of an information dump, but it actually was a motivational speech for 45 minutes. Then we all went on a 6-hour scavenger hunt, and so I was part of a team of 5 PhD students walking around town, doing the damn thing, getting to know each other, being goofy, taking pictures. That was kind of fun. And today is an orientation day, but all I literally have to do is show up in the late afternoon for a boat cruise tour that lasts 2 or 3 hours, and then it's over. So yeah, my experience at MIT so far has been pretty positive, and my PhD cohort is 8 people deep, and I've met everyone except one person, and yeah, everyone seems cool. It's sort of this weird, there's a weird acknowledgement of one, we all know the completion rates of PhD programs, which is not super great, even at an institution like MIT. Um, so it's just like that part's scary, but then also thinking like, well, those of us who are here, like almost all of us anyway, will be dealing with each other for years and years and years, and so that's kind of interesting. So it's almost like, and it's a small group of people, right? So there's like there's almost pressure. It's just like, bitch, you better get along with these people because like we're all gonna be like working in offices together, teaching the same classes, taking the same classes, doing research together, and seeing each other like even when we leave this place, like in academia, for years and years and years to come. And like I'm pretty pleased. Like half the cohort is international. Almost half of them are people of color. I'm of course the only Black person in the cohort, which is what it is. There's like sort of like a weird perceived hierarchy, I think, for a lot of white students where they talk about like, oh, PhD students, master students, even though we're all kind of graduate students and sometimes take classes together. I don't necessarily see it that way. I think because I'm Black, also because I'm queer, but like I initially walking in to like the big room, even with master students, was just like, okay, there's like 3 Black people in here. I need to get to know them because like I need I need to like have the sort of space for myself, like where I'm working, where I'm studying. And I also feel the same way about like LGBT people, regardless of race. So yeah, that kind of like leads into sort of my beginning priorities here as I like start to nest here. I feel like I'm gonna live in the city for like 4 or 5 plus years. I've never lived in a single city for that long, so I'm excited to like lay down roots. I feel like better equipped to sort of deal with grad school now, because grad school part 1 for me was really fucking rough in that like I didn't really know how to deal with the relationship that I was in when I entered it. I didn't know how to deal with myself. Like I wasn't sleeping well, I wasn't eating well, I gained a lot of weight, I became really aware of my depression. Just like a lot of like wild shit. And so, you know, towards the end of that, like started going to therapy, I started eating better, I started working out more, I started like doing all of these sorts of things, going to services, going to meditation groups, like really like getting my shit together. I'm glad I did that work because now I feel like I can enter grad school part 2 with like a good foundation of like healthy behaviors, affirming behaviors. Honestly, therapy, specifically therapy with like another Black man, was like so good to me. And we didn't even have like so many like super intense like breakthrough moments. It was just like having regular kind of conversation with someone who's outside of my life, to sort of like work through things, reflect things, understand what I can control, and understand how to deal with what I can't control. And yeah, I feel ready, because the start of grad school is always really weird, where like a lot of people try to like insert their entire resume into like every fucking conversation. So you could just be like at a restaurant with someone like,
yo, these eggs are really good. Like, they did the damn thing for these eggs.
and like, you know, talking about something like benign, simple, like something we could all talk about. And someone would be like,
Yeah, these eggs are really great. They like make me think of the way I learned to cook eggs when I was volunteering and partnering with the Red Cross, also with an NGO that I founded in southern Kenya, where we were doing economic development work.
like, people really just be doing that shit. And like, in North Carolina, people were definitely doing, like, totally doing that. And then here at fucking MIT, like in Cambridge, when like I'm just surrounded by MIT and Harvard students, it is kind of out of this world. And I'm waiting for the 2 or 3 month period. For most people, it takes 1 month, but like 2 or 3 months into this experience where people like stop that shit. So I'm just like out here trying to figure out what people's like zodiac signs are and shit. And like, I participated in that a little bit in grad school part 1, especially when I was like fresh from Japan, and like Japan was like on my mind constantly, and I was constantly like referring back to something I was doing. Here, I'm secure in myself, like I'm secure in my record of work, like I know where I'm coming from, I know the skills that I have. Obviously not like 100%, you know, self-assured, self-affirmed, confident, but I don't know, 75, 80%? 85 maybe on a good day, like 85% confident, like in just like who I am and where I'm coming from and the fact that I deserve to be here. Yeah, the fact that I deserve to be here, like not having getting over imposter syndrome, because it's like, oh, everyone's fucking bullshitting. Even like top faculty at a place like the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, like it's okay. um yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. I think I'm rambling at this point, but I just wanted to like get this video out to you